Good evening. As you are aware, Udaipur has large number of geo-heritage sites around it. But today I will be speaking on Zawar area, which has great international significance, and we will be discussing various aspects pertaining to Zawar area, which has potential of being a global geopark in India. The word heritage everybody is familiar with, but unfortunately, most of the people are familiar with the cultural aspect of heritage only. That is, human made aspects that are there. But besides the human activities, there are certain natural attributes also which comes under heritage. And amongst the natural heritage also, there are biological as well as abiotic aspects. Most natural heritage, unfortunately, have been taken for biological aspects only. Another aspect of heritage is that it is classified into two categories: the tangible, one that we can touch or are physical artifacts, or intangible, one which is abstract, such as music, songs, and etc. In case of our case, Zawar, the intangible heritage would be the processes that were used for smelting of the ore and recovery of lead, zinc, silver, main metal that were part of the ores of this area. So that process, in as also the making of clay retorts. Was it only the clay or other aspects were also there? Those aspects will have to be seen. There are lot many heritage sites around the world, and UNESCO has been assigned to enlist those things. So one has to apply to UNESCO, and UNESCO then gives its tag for world recognition. So as of now, these keep on changing with the additions are adequate. As of now, there are 1121 UNESCO heritage sites. Of that, 869 are cultural ones and 213 are natural ones. 39 are of the mixed category. For India, we have only 38 of these 1121 sites that are present here. And out of these 38, 30 sites are of cultural importance, that is human made, like Ajanta, Ellora, hill forts, and other places. And only very few, seven natural splendors are there, which have been listed in by UNESCO, and one is of the mixed category. Of these seven, these are all details are available on the website. The seven ones that we will see, they are all biological parks, be it Western Ghats, Sundarban, or even in Rajasthan, Kelva Devi National Park. So all these are biological, not a single geological or abiotic natural heritage site is available in India, or rather recognized in India. This is because geological aspect of heritage was recognized fairly late in 1990s. Till then, we were having what are known as National Geological Monuments. As of now, there are 34 National Geological Monuments in India, 10 of which are in Rajasthan, and two would be added soon, Zawar and Ramgarh Meteorite Impact Crater. Idea is that we have to promote geotourism and provide local employment and revenue for the local people. According to Geological Society of America, geological heritage sites are those sites which get basic idea is geology, but they also help in cultural significance in the enhancement of that area. The 10 geological approved geoheritage sites in Rajasthan have been put up on a map like this, and another two which are proposed to be added. All 12 have been added. Their brief description is there. Now, this is a non-technical one. This was produced through Natural Heritage Division of INTAC, and non-technical description, a description that can be understood by a layman or a non-geological or non-science person or even an ordinary tourist. He can sort of understand what is the importance of this. Such folders have been prepared for various sites. Now coming to Zawar, Zawar area is have been selected because way back in 1983, British Museum London, through collaboration with Indian universities and industry, had carbon dated the timber of this place, and earliest date found was 765 BCE down to the present. Even presently, this mine is working. So there is a continuous activity for more than 2,500 years. And based on that, the American Society of Metal, they have recognized Zawar as a area of historical importance. And their citation says, at this site are represented zinc retort distillation furnaces and remnants of related operation. The village artifacts, together with temple ruins, attest to the success of this metallurgical technology. This operation first supplied the zinc for making of brass instruments in Europe, a forerunner to industrial revolution. So here, ASM International goes further, saying Zawar is the first zinc smelting site, and it is a forerunner. It provided brass for making industrial revolution a success. So that is the important. These are the two great global impacts that have been felt here. Regarding the location, Zawar is located in the state of Rajasthan. It's a western state, one of the 29 states of the Union. And in it, Rajasthan has 33 districts. So the southern district of Udaipur has this mine or a heritage site. And here the Aravali mountain hill range that is there, this has widest range. That means it has not many things other than Zawar. So Zawar main thing is that it is very well located near Udaipur, just 40 kilometers south and well connected through a national highway 48. It was a four-lane road which is now being extended to six-lane road. So the connectivity is very good and accessibility is also very good. Udaipur is already a well-established tourist destination, so people coming to Udaipur can easily visit this place if they can spare a day or so. Even in ancient times, this Zawar area was located along the ancient trading route joining the coastal Gujarat ports, where the material was brought in and exported through ships. Arab traders used to come here. And coming to Ayad area near Udaipur, one could move towards Malwa to the east, or it can move north to Delhi and other areas of India. It is not the Zawar is not the only place available around Udaipur. There are not many other deposits all around in hilly area as well as plain areas. And besides the metal deposits, there are very good building material available here: marble, quartzite, sandstone, and serpentinite, and other products. Forest products are there. Animal husbandry is there. So other aspects are also fairly good. Now coming to Zawar, Zawar has a global geopark aspect because it is the first zinc smelting site in the world. So it has a important. Then it has been in operation for last 2,500, which is a very long period, and it is still in existence and working. Then because of that, it has rich historical elements right from 646 CE down to the present level. It has rich architectural elements. It has good archaeological aspects also. And as I told you earlier, it has a very favorable location, easily accessible through airports, railways, bus stand from Udaipur, and one can reach this spot. As of now, we have what are known as National Geological Monuments. These are single aspects only. That means, say, Sandra granite, it is a natural sculpting and nothing more than that. Or Kishangarh nepheline syenite, it's just a rare variety of rock. But for a geopark, there has to be things other than geology. Based on geology, you have to have cultural aspects also. So at Zawar, we have underground mining, smelting, successful smelting of lead, zinc, and silver. Then there were architecture, archaeology, history, lot many temples are there, anthropology, tribal life is there, forest is good here, geomorphology is very interesting, as well as intangible heritage aspects of smelting and retort making is also available here. So there are, it's a sort of a bunch of flowers, a big bouquet. Coming exactly to Zawar, Zawar has an area of about 64-kilometer area in which ancient mining and smelting activity is visible. Most of the smelting was done near the water source, near the river TD river, but mining is scattered in a very large number of area. But we have shortened the area to 16 kilometers so that it is a manageable and a person can, in a single visit, cover all the spaces that are available within these 16 square kilometers. Natural Heritage Division of INTAC New Delhi has done a detailed mapping of this area on 1 is to 8,000 scale with 200 meter by 200-meter grid size. And on this, there is an annexure list where all the important sites and locations have been marked. Most important of these is an interpretation center, that is a indoor museum which will have latest display facilities, vehicle parking, open spaces, cycle track is there, 4 kilometer long and 5 meter wide. Camping area is there. If somebody wants to camp there, then camp area has to be developed. Then landscape spots will be there, souvenir shop, eatery, facilities. These all are already marked. Then temples, slag retort mounds, old mines, a fort. Geological Survey of India has its field training center here, river, old masonry, gravity dams. So there are not many things to see here, and they are marked on a map, and one can visit starting with the interpretation center. This is just for a description one, but there are 7 hills in which mining was done in the past. Presently, mining activity is confined to 5 of these Mangra or hills that we call. Best historical reconstruction has been done through rock inscriptions. The Because of the invasions in the area, temples and statues were destroyed, but these rock inscriptions they have remained intact and they could not be destroyed. Therefore, they one can reconstruct the whole historical aspect of this area, and they have provided very good information. Lot of geology has been done in a great detail, so I won't go into that detail. Only thing is, it has only 3 metals ores of zinc, sphalerite, galena of lead, and silver is contained within galena, extracted out of galena during smelting. Even now, Hindustan Zinc is producing about 50 tons of silver per year every year from this lead ore of various places, including Zawar. Then there are various archaeological aspects that I will skip over. There are lot many old mines in whole of the area, so the adventurous people can sort of visit these mines. Some of them have gone in and explored what are the underground mines inside. Because the rock is very hard and competent, open stoves are there, no filling is required, no water is there, it is above water table. So these are very good open ancient mining stoves that can be visited by adventurous tourists. So in one of the foreign mines, such cycling expeditions are arranged. Person can visit these places through four-wheel drive vehicles and then through cycle inside the mine a person can visit. Similar development can take here because here also we have similar open stopes which can be visited by people. This is another site of various old mines. They start from the surface and go deep inside. Another interesting thing is that there are very large number of what are known as slag and clay retort heaps. Whatever smelting was done, smelting was done in such clay retorts. They were heated and metal extracted out of that, and these were single-use items. They were thrown off, and very large number of these mounds are available in this area. GSI has brought out a memoir of this by Stratjak and Srikanthan in 1966, and they have estimated nearly 500,000 tons of discarded waste in this area. And out of this, how much ore must have been taken out, that is also estimated. Besides these, there are certain various cultural attributes based on the geology. Basic fundamental thing is the geoheritage aspect, and based on there is an ancient fort here, uh, masonry gravity dam is here because for smelting lot of water is needed, and we have seasonal rivers, so they were dammed and water stored in the lakes, and that was used throughout the year for the smelting purposes. There are scores of Jain temples here because most of the mining, smelting, and trading activity was in hands of Jains. So very lot many Jain temples are there. They used to invite because of the prosperity. They used to invite national level Jain Munis here, and their description is available in rock inscriptions. One of the best preserved monument here is architectural aspect is Ramanath Kund. It is a step well water body, and there is a temple, Vishnu temple. They are connected. It is a twin monument, lake pond versus with a temple, and very detailed rock inscription is there. Who made it, when it was made, and who drafted the thing, including who was the architect of this? Ishwar Bharadwaj, son of the famous Mandan Bharadwaj, who constructed Kumbhalgarh Fort for Maharana Kumbha. This was got constructed by Maharana Kumbha's daughter. Descriptions. To develop this as a geoheritage park, we have approached government agencies and all the desired formalities, right from mine secretary to district magistrate, Tehsildar, Patwari, and land has been demarcated, and they have certified that this amount of land is available of geopark facilities that were shown earlier. GSI had a 4-member visited the site and they have submitted their report for its development. So, to sum up, what we need here is an interpretation center, an indoor museum with samples, display boards, interactive display of ancient and modern mining, metallurgy aspects, describing Zawar's geoheritage, archaeology, history, spiritual elements through printed folders, handout, and booklets. Then there has to be a refreshment or eatery. Signages will have to be put up at various spots that were described earlier. There has to be a souvenir shop selling ores, because people who coming here would like to know what is the type of a lead ore or a zinc ore that is there, or the retorts in which the smelting was done. Then vehicle parking has to be done. Washroom facility has to be developed. Then slag and discarded retort heaps are there. They are very interesting for people to visit. Lot many people have shown interest in seeing them. So special visit will be arranged for this. Then old Jain temples are in ruins. They will be maintained as such, and they will not be reconstructed. Most of the people say that let them be as they are, but they will be sort of beautified. Then ruins of the huts made from the discarded record. That is a very special feature of this place, because retorts are use and throw type, one type use material made of clay. They are hollow, so they make a very good building material. So villagers usually make their huts. They are light as well as it is an insulating material, so they remain cool during summers. Then Ramana Temple and Kund TD River, all these, uh, Gravity Dam is there. Then Jawarmata Temple, it is very popular even today. Lot many people visit there, and whatever discarded statues or archaeological architectural material is there. They are all brought and kept here. So it has its own museum sort of thing in the temple, with a feeling that people will not steal from here. They can steal from outside, but not from a temple. Then optional visit to Field Training Center and Haran Magra ancient fort and underground mines can also be there. Most important is for the training of geo guides or destination managers that people like to call themselves. And printing material will have to be provided to them. So this is a repeat of the earlier thing. All these facilities will have to be developed for this site. Then we have also commissioned an internationally acclaimed watercolor artist. Luckily, we have another good watercolor artist in Udaipur itself. So they have painted not many spots, and these will be available at the souvenir shop for sale, their printouts. Another aspect that we have done is, instead of, if the tourist has some time, instead of visiting Zawar and coming back, he can visit satellite site we call. So these satellite sites could be of anything. So here we have, what we have done is visit to Chavand. The place, it has a historical value. Maharana Pratap founded this capital during his last days. He died here, and his Samadhi Sthal is constructed here. Then we have very good lake Jaisaman. So visit to this place. With Chavan, there is a nice old Natara Ke Pal iron ore deposit where mining and smelting of iron was done, which was an essential commodity for the weapons of that period. Then from Zaur mines, Jaisaman lake boat ride can be done, and there is a sanctuary also, wildlife sanctuary of forest department. One can drive in and see the wildlife and come to them. So this entire thing can be done. Serpentinite rock is also there. Dungarpur is also there. They can also be included if time permits. So that is about all. These natural and cultural heritage aspects have to be highlighted and made popular amongst people. Geologists or mining engineers or metallurgists or archaeologists know about it. But people have to know about these things, and they have to be popularized. And these can be done through website also. As of now, there are 147 global geoparks recognized by UNESCO in 41 countries. China has 39, but India has not a single one as yet. And on the souvenir shops, we can sell items like cap, t-shirts, ceramic mugs, anything, stationery, so many things are there of geo-heritage aspects. These will be available there. Thank you.
That's nice, sir. This Professor D.M. Banerjee, he was suggesting about spreading the net of this geopark to the traveling business. Would you like to say something about that?
Pardon, sir? I couldn't follow. Yes,
Professor,
please repeat.
Professor Banerjee, D.M. Banerjee,
Yes,
had,
yes.
yeah, yeah,
Actually, during discussion, it was pointed out that apart from these, uh, Udaipur has a good serpentinite building material, what is popularly known as green marble. It is mined, traded world over. It is very popular building stone, and maybe like Makhana marble. We are, geologists are thinking of getting a global tag for serpentinite also. So, as I told you in the beginning, Ja- Udaipur has so many things. Jamar Kotada is there, Rajpura Dariba is there, marble mines, pink marble mines, green marble time, serpentinite, this green building material. They are there, and there are so many things. If a person wants to spend more time, more than one day, he has lot many things to see. So much so that even the entire Udaipur area or the southern Aravali area can be declared as a Aravali Geopark area with a larger, big component, not just confined to Zawar. Here we want to start small and then develop to other aspects.
another Dr. Mathur, of course, he was suggesting
Yes,
about, yeah,
I told you because Rajpura Dariba is also a declared national geological monument, and as Dr. Banerjee also pointed out, uh, there is nothing additional charm. It is good for geologists or technical people, Gosan, but a layman or a tourist visiting there will not have any special interest in seeing those Gosan areas. So technically, it is a very good area, but the satellite site or sites of other interest that is there in Zawar, temple, retort heaps, old mines. Even the mine in Dariba area are in a very fragile rock, so they are using. They don't have open stope; they have filled stopes. So once mining is done, they are all filled in. So additional things are not available there. So for a non-technical person, the area may not be of interest.
yeah, it's a wonderful talk, Professor Ranawat.
Thank you.
People can ask you more questions via email. So, thank you very much.
Okay, bye. Thank you.